Are you all right?
Yes, my princess.
Of all of the mediocre movies I have in my library, tell me, why do I remember this commercial failure the most? Looking at both extremes of the spectrum, the projects that fall close to either end are regarded with praise or criticism. The best or worst of entertainment has something to offer, while those that play everything safe are guaranteed to wander within mediocrity. I'll be talking about entertainment that is either completely not worth your time, fails to hit a certain level of quality, or best case scenario, a smidgen away from greatness, and whether to enjoy or avoid. And my recommended alternative: set your expectations low, take a swig of caffeine, and welcome to the Mediocre Entertainment Hub. So normally, like any good YouTube personality in my opinion, we give you a brief overview of the production and the plot summary of the discussed entertainment to lay out some context. But I want all of you to take a look at the Wikipedia page here next to Shrek's. What don't you see? That's right, the cask of Amontillado. But don't fret, I have some downstairs. Follow me. Okay, poor literary joke out of the way, there's no production page. So until someone out there doesn't mind searching for what happened behind the scenes and tossing that into the Wikipedia article, the best educated guess I can make is that it's either the movie had incredibly poor timing upon release, the cover art is just a tactic to cash in on unsuspecting grandparents thinking it's DreamWorks Madagascar, or someone's bold idea to poorly copy aspects from It and Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. Whatever the case, here's the rundown of The Wild's plot. After feeling embarrassed that he can't roar like his father, Ryan the Lion thinks going to the Wild will help him find what he's missing. However, in the exact scene he decides to run away, he regrets this decision while being sent to Africa via an intercontinental shipping container, causing his father Samson, leader of the zoo, into going on a rescue mission to save Ryan. On this journey, Samson is joined by his friends. Nigel, the charismatic koala who is also the zoo's plush mascot, is tired of being called cute and is the source of comedy in this movie. Bridget, the insecure giraffe who's mostly only here to be insecure, snarky, scared, and Benny's love interest. Benny, the thirsty squirrel who calls himself a hero, is Samson's best friend and is horny for Bridget.
Bet you didn't know I could ride geese, did you? Bareback.
Oh, brother.
Like, really horny. And Larry, the dim-witted anaconda who's mostly here to be dumb and provide comic relief, albeit the writing does a poor job of that. So as our team of zoo animals venture out to save Ryan, it's a race against an erupting volcano, wildebeest that desire to become carnivores, and the truth about Samson's past coming to light. I'm going to lay out my thoughts. The plot feels like someone took the themes of family and trust in Finding Nemo, the element of the main characters literally being lions from The Lion King, and some plot threads from Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, and shoved it all together. Unfortunately, none of it flows with any sort of cohesiveness. It goes from a, I want to be like my dad, so I'll go to the wild, where I can learn, to, oh no, I changed my mind, now I need to be rescued, on a dime, and finally, cultists wanting to eat the flesh of their enemies, and you don't get any time to sit down and sink into the plot. You're handed off like a baton at a high school relay race, and before you know it, the movie is over. And before I continue, I'm guessing you're thinking of something else. You're probably asking yourself, Mr. J, how does a movie about Finding Nemo with lions correlate to an 11-year-old boy genius saving his and other parents from green space eggs and a giant chicken? Well, that's because both movies are rescue missions. Both protagonists have to save the person or people they love, they have to go on an adventure to somewhere new to save them, and are joined by a group of their trusted friends. I didn't say The Wild is like Madagascar because it's a rescue mission movie. Madagascar is a comedy survival/escape movie, where Marty the zebra wants to go to Africa, but then it takes a massive turn when his friends Alex, Gloria, and Melman get caught in the crossfire of his plan, leading to them getting sent to Madagascar, not Africa. Then we watch as the animals deal with island life on Madagascar, while also finding a way to leave. I mean, the only way you could stretch the context of The Wild being a ripoff of Madagascar is if you're a dime a dozen entertainment journalist or YouTube essayist, respectively pumping out an article or content. I wish I was making a bad joke. And the writing isn't much better. I get the tone they're trying to set, or the situation they're in, but unfortunately, it's either undercut by Larry, Benny stoking relationship talk unrelated to the plot with Bridget, being thirsty for Bridget, the jokes interfering with the overall mood, or a reference breaks the atmosphere and tone.
Not so fast, Tigger.
Why did he mention that? Samson isn't a tiger, and he doesn't even know who Tigger is. This would only work if he was from the New York City Zoo like Samson and Co., not a wild animal who doesn't have access to technology or information from who knows where in Africa. And additionally, tigers aren't native to Africa! In other words, the writing is a jarring mess of ideas that rapidly bounce around and don't work with what's going on. I can't say much more than jingling keys are being jangled. On a less annoyed note, and tying in two of the voice actors, first, I feel bad for Colin Cunningham. He works in the visual arts department, and Cunningham only has 2 acting credits. Obviously, the only role I know him for is the screaming British rock hyrax that farts with every step.
The koala for protection. Well, Ratty, could you slap me in the face a few times?
No. What are you, a twit?
Ignore him, Nigel.
Don't bother, I'm leaving.
Weird.
And considering he doesn't have a British accent unless he's screaming, why did 8-year-old me find this funny again? And second, when I said Nigel is the source of comedy in this movie, I meant it. With the references or one-liners I can't be bothered to remember, Susie Izzard's performance is the one thing in this movie I didn't groan or mildly scream at. Nigel is a gift. The way he's written as a character got chuckles out of me whenever Izzard brought him to life.
I can't take it anymore. He's taunting us. Listen. Stop laughing at us, you solar twit. Captain Bligh, sir, are the ice cream cones ready? The crew, they're on the verge of mutiny.
Nigel.
I'm so cuddly, cuddly. I'm so cuddly.
I know you're cuddly, but can you float?
I can't be mad at this. This is the best thing about The Wild. I respect the voice talent everyone put in, but Izzard stole the show. And hey, at least compared to the animation and art direction, the writing and voice acting is bearable. I have 6 words to describe the animation and art direction. I hate how this movie looks. The animation isn't Ratatouille levels of bad, but when compared to Over the Hedge, Flushed Away, and Cars, it's respectively like comparing Ben the Looney and Kolobi Productions to Kevin Temmertoons and Worthy Kids in terms of animation skill. Why am I saying this? The reason is I watched The Wild twice, and there's this one scene with Ryan and 2 hippos, and the segment didn't feel fluid. I think I understand the gripes animators share with poor animation. I didn't feel any weight while watching it, and at certain points in the movie, the characters move like the presence of inertia and gravity are non-existent. My 2 cents are that when characters are in motion, their size and frame account for how they interact with their world. And without the proper weight to them, it feels less grounded and believable. Now there's more nuance to what I said, but that's currently what I comprehend. Getting back on track, this spreads to the whole movie because the dissonance between the visuals and the floaty animation make me question what they were going for. Are they trying to be realistic or cartoony? The answer is I don't know. For the art, I really wish they stuck with the style they used in the opening segment of the movie. It looks stylized, pleasing, and easy on the eyes. I would have taken this over the realistic-looking animals. I can tie Madagascar into this for the fact that its visuals are actually pleasant to look at. The main characters are noticeably distinct and stylized from their core animal counterparts, but also allows their visual presentation to be easily identified by a young child. As well, and this is based on subjective observations, I think most of the animals have triangular patterns distinguishing their noses, hooves, etc. as to work around creating overly realistic character models. What it boils down to between both movies is that Madagascar works within the limits of the technological resources it's utilizing and makes something wonderful with it. The Wild had the same principle, but went off in a very awful and uncanny direction. The Wild could have been a fun movie, where Samson journeys off to save Ryan, and the both of them having respective character arcs centered around being truthful with oneself and their shortcomings, and that going on a test of courage won't immediately change things that you feel embarrassed over. And since it's my video, I'm sharing my idea, because I think it sounds a lot stronger. Imagine, if you will, a plot where Ryan is actively engaged with heading to Africa, with Samson and co. following after him. They reach Africa and find Ryan, and unfortunately are quickly separated because of the carnivorous wildebeest cult. I don't have a concrete dynamic, but splitting the rescue party into two groups respectively, with Samson and his arc of being truthful, and Ryan with his arc of discovering the truth about courage, would be my take. Also, Samson's wife Galena, who was cut because she contributed nothing plot-wise, could have plot relevance because she could actively engage with Ryan or Samson's group. So as the two start going through their respective arcs, they obviously face conflicts with their friends that result in pushing them towards being better characters. Ultimately, gathering everyone at the climax of the movie, having Samson and Ryan conclude their arcs, minor plot resolution, ending with everyone going home and the two gaining a new perception on life. Oh, and translate the stylization of the opening segment to the characters and setting, find a foothold in the animation weight, got the humor that doesn't fit within the plot, etc. The end. I take viable checks, Lego mech sets, or cash. Though if you're inclined to watch The Wild, do it with friends or family. This movie goes by a lot quicker when you have people to rip on it with. If not, it becomes a boring waste of an hour and 20 minutes of your time if you're watching it alone. Unless you're the type of person who actively enjoys painfully mediocre movies, move away from it. Do something with that time better spent. Actually, I can share what movies would be a better use of your time. You got Igor, Hoodwinked, Ratatouille, Cars, Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo, Over the Hedge, The Emperor's New Groove, Lilo and Stitch, Happy Feet, Puss in Boots, Toy Story, Hotel Transylvania, Hercules, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, Treasure Planet, The Princess and the Frog, Tangled, and just for the heck of it, Finding Nemo, Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, The Lion King, and Madagascar. You might be asking, Mr. J, did you seriously put time aside to look at the casting credits and find 21 animated movies for myself and others to watch instead? Yes, I spent a total of 30 minutes skimming over their voice acting roles and finding movies that weren't complete garbage. I made rules for myself, and I'm going to follow them. Albeit the next time I'll have a better set of rules here so I don't overload you guys. In my unpopular opinion, I don't think The Wild is a Madagascar ripoff. Yes, it shares similarities with it, but that's surface-level, superficial window dressing that your garden variety internet personality or critic would string together to pretend they have a strong argument. A ripoff in movie terms is using the exact or near-exact plot as another movie. If The Wild was a ripoff, it would have come out the same year and/or same time as Madagascar. This isn't a mockbuster either, because they're made to capitalize on the publicity of a popular film with a low budget and quick production. For context, The Wild had a budget of $80 million, whatever effort was put into production, and it had a theater release. If this was a mockbuster, it would have come out shortly after Madagascar, had worse overall quality, and no theater presence. Oh, and Disney did not produce this movie. Did you think my video title was just playful alliteration? No! Hoity Boy Pictures, Sir Zip Productions, and Contrafilm produced The Wild. Buena Vista Pictures Distribution, which is under Walt Disney Pictures, distributed it. Production is when the team under the studio or company or whatever it is produces the entertainment in question. Distribution is when the distributors give the rights to a company, theater, or streaming service to play their movie while earning a share of the profits made from the distribution agreement. Or to be more concise, Disney distributed The Wild with their name on it, but they didn't produce it. The Wild had the bad luck of coming out a year after Madagascar, and unfortunately without any of its charm, wit, or style. It's also outdone by Over the Hedge, Flushed Away, and Cars because these movies released the same year, but have better overall quality. Though if you guys like The Wild, I won't think less of you for it. That job is reserved for this banana nut muffin. I'm Mr. J, and after this, I'm watching a Goofy movie. It will not remove Benny from my consciousness, mind you, but it will lessen the pain.